a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday morning or Wednesday night if you're hanging out with us live. We are into day 3 of the MLB playoffs, and we got some series here. We got some game 3s, some good ones. All 3 of the series that have already, the games have already concluded today, are going to game 3, and I think all 3 should be awesome. I will say playoffs is the only time where I could bear the AL Central division. It's because at least it's like exciting pitchers duels. But yeah, I mean, Padres Cubs is going to be fun. Yankees Red Sox in the Bronx, winner go home, is going to be electric.
That's awesome.
We're operating with the assumption that the Dodgers are going to close it out here momentarily. But I mean, they just tried to not. This bullpen, I've never seen anything like it. I've seen Isn't
it wild, dude?
This is crazy.
I've been a Mets fan since I was a child. I've seen bad bullpens, and I've been through it. I've never seen anything like this. This is crazy. This is like, it's like in their heads or something. They literally can't throw a strike.
They just got bailed out too at that strike 3 call.
I don't know. I thought that was a strike. It was borderline. You can't take that pitch with 2 strikes.
No,
very good.
No.
Good answer, Kyle. Great answer, Kyle.
Loaded. Yeah, you got to swing.
If you take that pitch with 2 strikes, you're basically saying like, "Hey, could you bail me out?" Like,
you're talking about this pitch that's literally in the bottom corner, the whole ball.
Yeah, because those things are always accurate.
The one on TV
being a ball.
The one on TV, there was maybe a third of the ball caught the zone.
It was borderline. But anyway, we're going through the 3 MLB games. Obviously, the Dodgers won, probably not. But the Reds are coming up to the top of the 9th now. And who's warming up for the Dodgers? Sasaki's going to close it out for the Dodgers. So we'll see.
Told you guys.
He did say that. And then we're going to do NFL. We got a few games. And then we're going to do college football. So we'll be hanging out for a while. First game up, Detroit-Cleveland. Trevor, me and you had Cleveland today. You also took Cleveland to win the series at plus 250. Are you just going to let that bet ride, or are you going to hit another Cleveland money line?
I'm staring at Cleveland minus 108. Staring, but I'm going to have some self-control. I'm just going to ride the 250 out. But I am probably going to fire Flaherty under 12.5 outs. It's minus 140, but the last 2, where's he at? His last 2 outings was against Cleveland. He went 9 1/3 innings, gave up 4 earned, 4 walks and 10 strikeouts with 8 hits. And given that, Scuba went basically a complete game and Will Vest was the only guy used out of the bullpen. In game 1, they did use some guys today. I mean, Holton went 31, Finnegan 18, Melton 14, and Herder 11. It's an all hand on deck game for them. So if they got to use these guys, they're gonna go 3 innings with Flaherty and then send everybody out there, just do pitching chaos, kind of like similar to what they did today a little bit. So I don't think he goes more than 4 innings, especially being the 3rd time in 2 weeks roughly that this Cleveland lineup will be seeing him. And Cleveland versus righties, they've actually been hitting fairly well. I know, like on paper, it doesn't look great, but with runs. But I mean, you got Bo Naylor with a 457 WOBA, Ramirez 424, Valera 401, Rocchio 374, Kafis 371. They've been getting to some righties a little bit. Now you're going to see Flaherty again, and this is a guy who we know has no problem giving up a lot of base runners and a lot of contact. So Flaherty under 12.5. I don't think he goes. I think they pull him around the 4th inning. He's not going on to the 5th, especially if this game's tied or they're down 1. They're going to need all hands on deck to get this one done. So I'll be just playing the Flaherty outs and riding my 250 money.
I kind of think Flaherty might get smacked around a little bit. I'm leaning towards the Cleveland side. Spoon, what do you think?
I think Cleveland's in a tough spot with the bullpen. Smith, Gaddis, and Sabrowski have all pitched on back-to-back days now. Smith's going to be over 51 pitches in those 2 days. It's the last day of the season. I expect them to roll everybody out there. Maybe not Smith after that 30-plus pitch outing. But I think this is a Detroit spot. Will Vest had the night off. Montero hasn't had to work. Everybody's going to be available out of the bullpen. I think they can, like Trevor said, if there's the first sign of weakness with Flaherty, they're going to pull him and just go into that bullpen. Cleveland's offense has been putrid. So is Detroit's. I think this under is in play again today. Obviously, today's got cooked right there at the end, but it's kind of a meaningless 3-run shot. I don't think that's going to happen again tomorrow. Detroit Tigers and under again for me.
Toast, do you agree?
I agree with the Tigers. I won't be betting the game. If I had to pick a side, I'd playing over personally, over 7. I think that I'm not in the camp that I think that Flaherty's going to get destroyed, but this is a total of 7 that helps. But I think that Flaherty can struggle with the amount of lefties that Cleveland can put up there. That's what worries me. But at the same time, in last year's playoffs, Flaherty wasn't terrible. Yeah, he had a blow-up start against the Padres. He gave up 4 runs and 5 1/3 in that first start. The way that the Padres offense was and stuff, that's just more of a dead clock being right twice a day for me. He comes back and looks fantastic against the Mets, gets hit up by them, and then comes back and pitches well at home against the Yankees and then gives up 4 the next time out. But I think it's very easy to say, and I don't think that even with all the haters out there that love to argue with me, this Cleveland offense doesn't hold any water to the Padres offense, the Mets offense, the Yankees offense this year or last year. I don't think that's even close. So I don't think that Flaherty's going to get absolutely tattooed. It's just the fact that you have him with that bullpen that, yes, they're rested and ready to go, which is why I would pick their side. But at the same time, I'm not. That bullpen is really shaky to me. I know that you're not going to see Sewald, but Sewald, Tommy hasn't really pitched well. Montero is kind of a wild card. He does have experience with the Astros, but he's not. He hasn't been fantastic this year for them at all. And then Spoon talked about it. Ciccone has been really good. But he's not. It's not the Detroit. It's not. They're not going to have a whole bunch of lefties. They're going to have 3 or 4 lefties in that lineup tomorrow. So there'll be plenty of right-handed bats to deal with Ciccone. And then, like Spoon talked about, Cade Smith, Gaddis, and Ciccone all back-to-back days. I just don't know who's closing out this game for Cleveland. And if these guys do come out, both of these guys are on pretty high pitch count. So if they come out, they're definitely not going to be anywhere close to 100%. Maybe Saborowski is it. But and then you're going to relying on guys like Matt Festa, Tim Herron, and Jacob Junis to get your quality high-level outs. It would only be over for me. I think I'm going to play the over. If it would be Detroit if I had to pick a side, but I think there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
No, I think
to your point, the wind is blowing
60 miles an hour out. I know.
Yeah, out into third baseline. So it's better than 12 miles an hour in, like it has been the last 2 days.
I wanted a 6.5, and I can't find it.
I'll put Cleveland up. I took Detroit in the first game because I thought Scooble would steal one, and that happened. But I think Cleveland is the better team, and I really don't feel strongly about it. Because I hear what they're saying about the bullpen being taxed, but also this Cleveland manager, it's he lives life on the edge. I've seen him throw Class A out there 16 straight days before. He doesn't give a shit. So I think he'll throw them all out, and I don't even know. I'm going to put Cleveland up. I think they're the stronger team, and I don't trust Detroit to score runs. I'm more inclined. If this series was in Detroit, I'd probably lean that way because I trust them to score more at home, but I'll put Cleveland up. The bet I have is in the next game.
If Detroit can score runs is a huge question, obviously, today. 1 for, I think, 12 or 13 with runners in scoring position. Yeah, really bad.
It kind of feels like Cleveland also found a little juice, especially at the end of that game. They just started rattling off hits. Rocchio's come up clutch a couple of times now as of late. I watched that and I was like, I think they just found a little bit of juice. And Detroit's, they're on the ropes.
They're also thirsty. They want that juice, Trevor.
So is Cleveland.
This next one's a strange series.
Let's talk about it.
Well, because
lots to talk about.
In the opening game, I was the only one who picked the Cubs. Not just on this show. The poll was 80% Padres. I was on Cubs Island in that first one. And the comments were like, how could you possibly pick the Cubs? And then yesterday I picked the Padres and the comments were like, how could you possibly pick the... It was crazy. They all just flipped a complete 180. Spoon, is this the last game of the season for the Cubs?
I think so.
I didn't expect that.
You want me to mail
I
you
have
this
a Padres
for tomorrow?
Fly
I
it,
have a
Trevor.
Padres series ticket.
Fly that.
I don't know this lineup top to bottom. There's some decent bats in there, but there's nobody with experience. There's not that ton of leadership here for the playoff. Big at bats. Kyle Tucker's still kind of playing injured. Pete Crow Armstrong looks like a shell of himself from 2 or 3 months ago. I just don't have a lot of faith in this lineup to get runs. I think Yu Darvish is going to go out there for probably 4 innings tomorrow, and then the Padres bullpen is going to come in and shut down the rest of this game. There's no question in my mind that they'll use everybody available in that Padres bullpen last game of the season if they lose this. And just the top of this Padres lineup, we saw it with Tatis and Machado today, combining to put up some early runs. It's just hard to shut them down. There's no holes between Tatis, Machado, Merrill, Bogarts, O'Hearn areas. Like it's really tough to get through that. Tyone was announced as this Cubs starter today late. Cubs were kind of hush-hush about what they were going to do with Game 2 and Game 3, and that's because they didn't really know. They were waiting to see how the games played out. They might have used Tyone today in the game if they had to. They just kind of grasping for the last straw. I think this is the last game of the season for the Cubs. Padres money line for me.
Shout out Sean Higgs, $150 super chat. Appreciate the support, man.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I came out of retirement to snipe one last MLB line at open. I'm on Padres plus 116.
You look at that.
It just
I
came
got
out
a 108. Where'd you 16?
FanDuel.
You had notifications on for FanDuel lines.
I came out of retirement to
Nice.
snipe one last bad one. It was on plus 116 on FanDuel. Yep. So, yeah, I sniped one last bad line for old time's sake. But, yeah, I'm on the Padres at plus 116. It's getting close to probably where it should be. As I said yesterday, I took the Cubs in the opening game because I thought the energy at Wrigley Field would steal one. I think the Padres are the better team. I think if you take out April to mid-May, if you take out the first 6 weeks of the season, that it's pretty considerable that the Padres are the better team. And I don't really care what happened in April. So Cubs have been a 500 baseball team for like 4 months. Yeah, Padres get it done. Trev, you with us?
Yeah. One, you missed the value. Yesterday was 270. I sniped a plus 270 with the Padres yesterday. So simply riding that out tomorrow. I mean, Yu Darvish, I respect this man unless he blows the game tomorrow. But 102 plate appearances, a 25.5% strikeout rate, sub 9% walk rate with a 194 average and a 277 expected WOBA against this Cubs team. If Carson Kelly and Seiya didn't hit 2 nukes into the wind yesterday, that who knows how that game ends. It probably was going to extras, but congratulations. You hit two jacks to left field, but they didn't do anything today. And the Padres did only use 3 guys out of the bullpen. Morejon went 33. I believe that's back-to-back days for him. Miller
Correct.
27, and then Suarez first appearance, he went 18. So Suarez should be available. I mean, season on the line, maybe they just roll these guys up, but they have a lot of guys in that bullpen that can come in and do what they need to do. So I plus 270 money line for the Padres. For me, I'm not betting anything else. I'm just going to be sweating this out to end the work day. So hopefully it'll be nice game to end the day on for me at work. But go Padres, Friars up.
Toast?
Not betting the game. So I'm just going to make that very clear, but we can go through it really quickly. It would only be the Padres for me. Shocker.
Wow. 4-way sweep.
Didn't play
You
them
bet the Cubs
today. I didn't bet them. I just leaned. I
You
said that on the
he,
show.
he picked him on the show. He definitely said, I'm not betting this.
No, I wasn't saying
I
you
did-
bet it, but you anyway.
No, I
sorry.
know. I know. You're good. I did play Manny Machado over hits, runs, and RBIs free. But so I think the question is Yu Darvish, and what are we going to get out of Yu Darvish? And kind of like Randy Vasquez, who could pitch in this game tomorrow, depending on how Yu Darvish does. Lefty bats. Well, there's 4 of them in that Cubs lineup. 2 of them are absolutely terrible, and Ian Happ and PCA. Those are automatic strikeouts almost. So until those guys show me something, I'm really not in a position where I feel like the Cubs are having an advantage, kind of like Spoon was talking about. The Cubs bullpen is fresh. I will give them that. Kittredge is the only guy that's going to be on back-to-back days, which, I mean, I still think that's a decent bullpen the way they've been performing the last couple of months. Padres bullpen in a tiny little bit of a situation. Again, all depending on how you pitches, but Miller's on back-to-back days with 40 pitches and Morihone back-to-back days with 41 pitches. I don't know if you necessarily count them as out, but like I was talking about with the Yankees before, I don't think you're going to have them at 100%. So maybe Mason Miller gets up for this one because he's finally in a spot like that, and Morihone's a kind of young guy too, so maybe that's fine. But I personally believe that even if you can go 4 or 5 and just keep the Padres in the game between Suarez, Estrada, Morgan, and Rodriguez, the Padres should be fine. I think they can match up really well. This Cubs offense hasn't shown us anything. Padres were 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position today. Another game where they just left a whole bunch of ducks on the pond, as Kyle would say. I don't know if those ducks stay on the pond tomorrow. Cubs were only 0 for 3 today with runners in scoring position. My point to that is, in game 1, the Cubs won. They had 2 home runs in 1 inning. They really haven't done much offensively at all in 2 games. Whether you call me a Padres homer or not, that's just a fact. So until this Cubs offense shows me something, it's really hard to back them even at a short price at home, even with Pooh Darvish on the mound. But again, with Pap and PCA being so bad from the left-hand side, I don't think it matters.
Good night, Cubs.
You can sing that stupid song next year. Go Cubs, go! I'm a grown man singing a song in a brown band.
I don't even know what song. No one knows that song, dude.
It's
Go Cubs, go song. Every time
Cubs go, there's actually a song.
Dude, it's so bad. There's like grown men in the stands.
It's on
Go Cubs, go!
Wait. Is it on your
We
playlist?
gotta win
Spoon?
today. Go Cubs, go!
What do you think I wake up to?
Oh my god, I have to look it
it's
up.
alarm.
Was that a bit?
That's kind of a
Spoon?
franchise
Do
you have to
you
beat.
really wake up to the Go Cubs? By the way, shout out to Ghost for the super chat. Thank you, man. You really wake up to the Go Cubs Go song, Spoon?
I do not. Maybe with a better roster, I might this time of year though. I'm just not sold.
All right, Yankee Sox. Let's pass it over. Look, living up to the allegations. In fact, Trevor didn't even really deny the allegations. He's been repeatedly referred to as a Yankees hater. There are claims that he's not seeing the Yankees games objectively. He shrugged it off, picked Boston, took an L. What are you doing here?
They went all in, pulling Bayo in the 3rd to just go bullpen the rest of the way. Shout out that Eaton kid for holding up at 3rd. What a bozo move.
He wouldn't have scored.
I don't know what. Yeah, he was.
No, he wouldn't have scored.
Yeah, if he slowed down and the ball bounced away,
he had
would
to
have been
slow
home.
down. He was going to field the ball. He can't just keep running.
It's 2 outs. Just run. It's 2 outs.
Yeah, but if he doesn't make the play, you can end up making the 3rd out.
This is what I was talking about before the show, guys. Right here. Right there.
I'm right.
I know you are.
No. If he's running to 3rd, you're in the friggin' wild card, dude, and you have a chance to win.
Yeah, it's not a fly ball, Trevor.
It's not a fly ball.
So he grounds and he throws it to first base. Worst case scenario.
No, worst case.
Out at first, innings over.
No, the worst case.
No, bounces away and you're in a full sprint.
The worst
hitting
case.
home.
Hold on. The worst case scenario is the first baseman drops the ball, the runner's safe, and he picks it up and throws you out at the plate for the 3rd out, and you just made the 3rd out.
And they have to find the ball, and by that point, you're already halfway down the 3rd base line.
What's your pick, yo?
I really want to bet Boston again.
Oh, no shit.
But I'm afraid. But I'm afraid with how the bullpen was used. But I mean, Ellerly's been fine. I mean, he's given up 2 runs in his last 2 appearances. But
Only person unavailable in that bullpen is Whitlock. You're good to go.
yeah, because Cora, a shout out Alex Cora for outbooning Aaron Boone tonight too. That was incredible. I mean, I want to bet them so bad. I want to bet them so bad just because this is this game is going to come down to a 1-run game. You want to lay minus 160 with both of them are rookies. You want to lay 160 with either of them, or just take the plus money? I'd be leaning more towards the plus money. I'm probably not going to play this game just because Boston's bullpen scares the hell out of me, given what they used up tonight. But plus 135 is tempting. Like this is a coin flip game in my opinion. So it would be Boston or nothing. But I'm 90% not going to bet this game. But we'll find out closer to first pitch. See what the line is.
Spoon, another comment came in saying that you're more of a Red Sox hater than TV Jones is a Yankees hater.
I mean, there might be a little truth to that. I'm not a big Red Sox fan.
So, who's not a Yankees hater? Yankees fans?
I'm objective and I take my job seriously. So.
Oh my god.
Yo.
Spoon.
You're a secret Yankees fan.
I mean,
I think this is pretty accurately priced from a side perspective. Like, I think the Yankees will win this game, and 160 really infers that. I don't think there's a ton of value betting the Yankees. Like, if we move on it right now, I don't think it closes that well. The way it's set now, I expect some Boston money to come in on this. Everybody's available in that bullpen because Chapman was the only one that had to pitch 2 days ago. Chapman took the night off. He did warm up in the bullpen, but didn't have to throw any meaningful pitches. So he's going to be out there for this final game of the season. I just don't know if they get to a point where Chapman is a necessity in this game. Connolly early has pitched well, but he's a rookie without very much big league experience at all. Schlittler came on, pitched the entire second half of the season for the Yankees, looked really good. These lineups definitely favor New York. I was on the Yankees first 5 -0.5. I would look at that bet again tomorrow and just Yankees money line. I think -1 loses a lot of value here in the playoffs. Everybody's going to be battling for every single run, so the run scoring environment's just not what it is during the regular season. So Yankees in one of those fashions for me.
Yeah, it's Yankees.
Can one of you guys answer who's pitching in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning for this team? I just want to know, because I don't know. I have no idea.
The same guys who pitched today.
For the Yankees?
Same guys who pitched
for the
today.
Yankees. Please tell me.
David Bednar will go out there 3 days in a row.
Yeah, Bednar.
Luke Weaver
Has he
didn't pitch
ever,
today.
though?
Devin Williams.
Did you
last
watch
Devin Williams
pitch
has been a known playoff choker. Devin Williams, known playoff choker.
Oh my god.
Bednar, his
Luke Weaver
highest
did
stress
not pitch
situation
today.
was an extra inning win against the Reds at home in Pittsburgh. Like, come on. These guys have got to melt down at some point.
Yeah, all right. You have that Boston logo up underneath. We'll see.
You know what? I might just spite bet this.
Toast is talking about 2 of the last 3. It's the last game of the season if they lose. They're not practicing load management.
What? It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I was wrong. It was 3 of the last 4 days. I don't care what game of the season is. If you're trying to close games pitching 3 of the last 4 days, it's probably not going to work out all the time. That's all I'm saying.
You want Boston.
And that's your top 3 guys in the Yankees bullpen. Cruz, Williams, and Bednar all have worked 3 of the last 4 days. Right, you're telling me that doesn't matter at all? I mean, it's over. Over 7.
Weaver's the best reliever.
Okay, well, he's already given it up this series.
He's got an
too,
infinite
so
postseason ERA right now, too.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Darth Weaver or whatever the hell that stupid ass name is. So it's over 7 for me. I don't know who's pitching. I can see Early getting hit up. There's no question about that. And Schlittler's been good, yes, but against who? Baltimore twice, Minnesota, Detroit. The one good team that he saw offensively, Toronto, absolutely torched him. White Sox, Washington. I mean, he really hasn't been tested at all. Not that this Red Sox offense is end all be all, but again, it's a 7.5. And if the Yankees do somewhat of the heavy lifting, I think we finally get an over in this series and some fireworks maybe late. I'm going to be playing the over.
I like the over too.
I might tail you on that.
Nope. No.
Yankees just put up 8. All right, guys. We're going to talk some NFL. You gentlemen enjoy your night. Talk to you guys later.
Good luck, guys.
All right. Just got to switch the screen up real quick to 3 people. All right, we got 5 NFL games queued up here. Oh, shit, this is Dodgers Reds. We don't need these graphics. That series is over. All right. Troy, is there a vacuum going on? Oh, never mind. It just this. Did you hear that, Jim?
I did.
Yeah, I was like, so someone vacuuming the room next to you. It's a weird sound.
Is it my computer just like overheating, screaming?
I don't know. It just got quieter. It was really loud before. It got much quieter now. So.
Do you still hear it?
Like vague, not anything serious.
Shit.
It sounds like an air conditioner, kind of.
Yeah, it's probably my computer.
All right. So, oh, nope, wrong screen. Now we're on to the NFL. Troy finally back after skipping out on his Detroit Lions victory lap last week. So, yeah, that was a awesome one. Monday Night Football, no doubter. Lions were the better team the whole time.
That market, Kyle, that market is insane. When the line goes through the 6, you bet the money. I actually cashed the Browns on the money same week.
Oh, right. I had the Browns that week too, but I did not take the money line. I had the plus, what did I have? Plus 8.5 or whatever. Yeah, whatever it was. I had the Browns also, that one against Green Bay.
Yeah, Troy, to make you feel better, I was terrible without you last week here. I
went back and watched. I had to check you out.
Took it in the old bottom mouth here on the Sauce Network. Took it in the old prison pocket. What are other terms?
You had a bet? I thought.
I had bad. It was the Ravens Chiefs was just embarrassing. I mean, that was just embarrassing being that wrong. But I'm gonna turn the page. There was some good. Overall, I went 9-8. Plus 0.6 units, but. That being so wrong on the Ravens Chiefs, right. The losses hurt more than the wins feel good. And
you know what I was thinking? Because I know we both had the Falcons, but we didn't talk about the Falcons on the show.
You did close. We did talk about it at the very end.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the games we picked. That's what I was thinking.
No. I just want to know who. But you nailed that. Both you and Troy nailed that by taking the plus money, at least having a unit on the plus money, and then finding out what the quarterback situation was. I didn't move on it until after. Daniels was announced out, so I did double up first half full game, but you guys hit it right. Get the unit in on at plus money, and then deal with the added information with more action.
Yeah, it's always nice when you wake up and see it minus 2.5. Like, oh shit, all right. But let's get into it. We're starting off.
That there's an echo. You guys hear an echo?
Yeah, I hear an echo, Jimmy.
Yeah, it's just on his mic though, right, Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, it's like your voice is sounding like it's I mean, it's fine. I can understand you. It just doesn't sound like it normally does.
It says I'm using my Yeti stereo mic.
Yeah. But yeah. Well, we could start. I mean, it's legible. I can hear it. But
yeah, it's not that bad. So.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's better.
That's way better.
We're in business. Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that.
Now it's fixed.
Fixed the audio.
So the first game up is 49ers-Rams. We're talking about the game tomorrow night. I'm letting these guys go because I uploaded a video where I went through this one. So what I ended unfortunately, I hate when it's like, well, I could have got such a better number. So it's all the way up. It's 8.5 now. You could have got 49ers -3 on Sunday when this market opened back up. So for me, I placed the bet on the over 44.5. You could still get 45.5, but it's not a game I feel strongly about. So I'm all ears, guys. What do you like here? 49ers Rams.
Well, this is my division, NFC West.
Okay.
And as Troy knows, if you bet the under in every single NFC West game, you cash and you cash and you cash and you cash. The uncomfort here was that it opened so high. And it got up to 47. Now, I know there's no Purdy, no Pearsall, no Jawan Jennings, which means no bueno. But this was a crazy. Usually, the NFC West totals open up at 44. They drop down to 42, 42.5, and they all go under. The Shanny and McVay, they battle. The line of scrimmage is war. So I'm on unders again. I went right back to the under wagon. I'm on first half. Under 23.5 full game, under 46.5. It's just the wheelhouse in NFC West.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely, Jimmy, you put me on the unders in this conference, and since then it's been really the only totals I've been able to cash is unders in this division. But I played this game differently. I had to. I mean, so looking at this market and the history of this market, when you see this big of a line move in division in this price range, the home team wins the game at a ridiculous rate. Another time the home team or the favorite wins the game at a ridiculous rate, or the public side wins at a ridiculous rate, is on Thursdays.
Yep.
Thursday nights, the public gets fat and happy, get them all psyched about the weekend where they lose on Saturday, reload on Sunday, and get absolutely hammered. So Thursday night football is a game I'm comfortable with being on a heavy favorite, especially on a money line, because I tease this game multiple ways. I think the Rams are a team, like, we've got confirmation over the past 2 weeks, Jimmy. Like, me and Jimmy moved on the futures with this Rams team, and I believe that their defense is one of the most well-rounded defenses in the league. And it all starts up front. They have two of the most elite edge rushers in the game. They have a great quarterback, coach tandem. They got everything that they need, in my opinion. And I think that this is a down year for this 49ers team. Purdy under pressure on 42% of his dropbacks is not going to stand well against this Rams team. I think this is going to be a win. And I teased it multiple ways. Now I bet we were betting this on Tuesday, right? I got Rams.
I wish it was Purdy, though. Purdy out. Mac Jones in.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Mac Jones.
I was actually I just recorded a video on this one, so it's actually fresh in my head. So if you wanted to get to the 49ers, which I struggled to do, like Troy said, I think it comes down to maybe the better coach team tends to get ready on a shorter week. Favorites, I think, are 18-3, I believe, in the last 21 Thursday night footballs. I think it's 17-3 or 18-3. That's outright, but they also cover at a decent rate as well. So, yeah, favorites have done well on Thursday night football, and I think that's probably a testament to maybe better coaching, better players. A short week, it's not easy to do. Football's different than other sports. 3 days off is not a lot of time. So, yeah, the favorites have done well here. You could say I do have a bet on the over, but it's kind of it's a primetime game, and I don't want to pass. I don't particularly like it. I'm on 44.5. The reason I got there, these two teams are both top 5 in pace in terms of seconds between snaps, and I don't think that there's a huge drop-off from Brock Purdy to Mac Jones. Obviously, Brock Purdy's the better quarterback, but I don't think there's nearly as big a drop-off as perceived. I don't think Mac Jones he's kind of perceived to be a terrible quarterback, and Brock Purdy is perceived to be a certain way, just got this contract. And I don't think the gap is nearly as bad as the perception. The 49ers offense did look pretty efficient the two games where Mac Jones played. Granted, they played the Cardinals and the Saints. I put over 44.5. I also, on the video, I said that the Rams would be a good Wong teaser candidate, even though you can't get the -110 Wong teasers anymore. But for those of you that do have an offshore book or something where you could still get -110 Wong teasers, I said the Rams would be a good candidate at the -0.5.
There's a reason why the total opened so high. So that you've got statistical backing for being on the over. The 49ers second in the NFL with 280 pass yards a game. 2 of those have been with Mac Jones at quarterback. Now, who is he going to pass to is a legitimate question. The Rams are third, 267.5 yards per game. So both teams are throwing the ball heavy amounts, which is what you want in an over. The pass rush for the 49ers is completely non-existent.
Horrible.
Now. I mean, it's horrific. And if Michael Williams, if his wrist is a problem, which it looks like it really is, then they have nothing. Because Gross Matos, who's also banged up, he shouldn't be out there. He should be coming in just giving some edge rusher a rest. So it's very likely that Stafford and Puka and Al can do whatever they want all game long. It seems as if, though, that when these teams get together, and that Shanny, there's some laughs in the chat, they're talking about, Mac Jones' legacy game loading. The only thing that can save the 49ers to me is Shanny. Shanny is a hell of a coach, and he can put something together. I don't know how they're going to put points up on the board, but the Rams should be able to, if they're pushed, score and score and score. If they're not pushed, they can slow the game down to a crawl. And Stafford's so good at slowing the game down, making it just a business trip.
Yeah, if you look at the last few times Shanahan's been to this building, he put up points. But this is a completely different offense. And the last time these two teams played, the final score was 12-6. So not exactly a shootout. All right, let's go on to the next one where I do have a bet. And it's an ugly one, but as of right now, it's looking like I got a good number. I'm on the Browns at 4.5. And it really comes down to I need Joe Flacco to be Joe Flacco. And what I mean by that is, all right, so we know what the Vikings are going to do. They're going to run a shitload of cover 2. They're going to send a lot of blitzes. That's what Brian Flores has always do. That's what he always will do. And Joe Flacco's numbers against 2 high safeties are interesting. So they're not good, but they're not terrible either. His average, his yards per attempt is 4.9, and he has a 1.4% deep throw rate, meaning when Joe Flacco drops back against 2 high safety looks, underneath, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, underneath. And that, in my opinion, is what you need to do when you play this Vikings defense. They're going to be sending their blitzes, and they wait for the quarterback to try to get aggressive. They're going to take a dumb sack. They're going to throw a pick. But Flacco, he's accurate. He gets the ball out quick. Now, he can't take any risks, and he needs to be the most patient dude on the planet here and just take those 2-3 yards. Sometimes punting and playing the field position battle is the right move. So I need Flacco to play a good game in terms of conservative. But really, my bet's based on the other side. The Vikings might be missing 3 offensive linemen against the Browns' defensive front. So
Kyle, I had very similar notes on Flacco against this defense, but it's going to be Dylan Gabriel.
It's not Flacco?
It's not Flacco.
Oh my God! When was that announced?
Oh, maybe like
Tuesday afternoon, because our breakdown.
All these graphics I have in this folder. Oh no! Oh, never mind. Only 2 of my graphics need to be replaced. I'm on 4.5. So,
but hold on. I don't mind it. I still don't mind it. Really, you're betting for, like we talked about this yesterday. We're betting this Browns team. Most of our bet is really predicated on this defense and what this defense is going to be able to do to Carson Wentz, who is awful for his man coverage. His yards per attempt dropped by over 1.5 yards. His passer rating from 98 to 85, and his turnover-worthy play rate almost triples. And how about Carson Wentz under pressure? He has the second highest turnover-worthy play rate, the 4th worst PFF grade. I mean, his numbers are comparable to Justin Fields, and it's probably why Wentz, got moved to a backup starter in the NFL. We know the Browns have the number 1 pass rush in the NFL at this point. And it's going to be Myles Garrett against a backup tackle, Skule, and I think he's going to need a lot of luck to hold his footing. I like to bet these. I talk about the noise adjusted score that PFF posts after each and every game, every single week. And I actually put some, I do agree with a lot of the scores, not all of them, but with the Browns specifically, I love to bet it when there's a huge discrepancy in the prior week's score. Like I did with the Browns 2 weeks ago when they coming off a game against the Ravens where the score was like a 3-point game. Well, if you look at the Lions, noise adjusted score was 19-9. That defense did a lot better than was perceived, and that actually played out in the box score. I'm on the Browns with you, and I don't mind Dylan Gabriel. Like I watched tape on this. I've been talking about Flacco for weeks. I thought I would like him in this matchup too, though. This was definitely a matchup I saw. You want a veteran quarterback throwing it underneath. They're going to have the double mug. They're going to be bailing out if they're dropping into coverage, and that's where you're going to hit him underneath. He's not going to take risks. And that was my biggest problem with Flacco is he never took risks. There was times against the Packers and actually every single week, the Lions too, where he would pass up on throwing a ball downfield to take the underneath throw, the sure throw. And I didn't like that. It made no sense to me. A veteran quarterback, you want to see him push that ball down the field on 3rd and 1, for example, when you have an open receiver running. They should be able to deliver that pass. You could tell something was not right with Flacco. I thought he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league by far. So I'm actually happy that we're going to see Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, despite, obviously you're having a rookie overseas against Flores. There's problems with that, but I still like the number, and I'm on Browns confidently 4.5.
Yeah, I bet this one at open. That's why I bet this one as soon as it opened. And here's the Vikings offensive line situation, by the way, that I was talking about. I got the graphic up. So Ryan Kelly is his 2nd concussion of the year. I'd be surprised if he plays, having his 2nd concussion of the year. But yeah, 3 starters missing on the offensive line against the Browns defensive front. Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Obviously, I placed the bet when it opened on Sunday, so I thought it was going to be Flacco. Having looked back, I saw it drop to 3.5, so I was like, oh, I got a good number. Dylan Gabriel is a guy that throws the underneath throws. I would have to look into his PFF stuff at Oregon, see how he handles the blitz. I'll have to look into that before I make the full video. But yeah, I'm on the Browns at 4.5. So are you with us, Jim?
I'm with you guys. I'm with you. I got the 4. But I'm with you. There's obviously concerns with Gabriel against Flores. Flores is going to mess with the kid's head. But Wentz better be ready to throw because Mason's not. I mean, this is a rush defense allowing 70.3 yards a game, shutting down Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So Mason is not going to run. Not only is this rush defense first at allowing 70.3 yards a game, the pass defense is 4th. I mean, Wentz just threw for 350 yards against the Steelers defense. I understand that the Vikings are sitting there, over in Europe and probably comfortable over there. But there is something to be said about next week being a bye for them. Sometimes teams right before they get to go on vacation, when they're sort of already on vacation, it's not the easiest spot to be completely locked in. And the best defense on the field is not Flores' defense. It's clearly the Browns' defense. In a total at 36, the market's implying there's extremely low volatility in this football game, even with the rookie quarterback. If you're going to have the lowest total of the entire year, you're probably in a good spot with the points. And I expect us to be in this game and there to be a field goal game and the defense to take care of everything. And Quinshon Judkins, who's got the best running back in the game? Is the Vikings with Mason? No, I think that Judkins has an opportunity to step up. But you nailed it with the issues on the offensive line. With Brian O'Neill out, Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be out as well with the neck injury. So, the pass rush gets hit. But you have Donovan Jackson and Brian O'Neill out. You have Ryan Kelly in concussion protocol against a ferocious defense. So I took the points. I'm with you guys.
Dylan Gabriel last year, 6th in college football in passer rating against the blitz, 127. You'll love to see it. So, yeah, Dylan Gabriel obviously dealing with the blitzes at Penn State, slightly different than the NFL. But this is a guy that was in starter in college football for 25 years. So, no, he's definitely. When I placed the bet, I thought it was Flacco. But, hey, I got 4.5. It's sitting at 3.5. That's good indication of something.
My one concern about this Browns team always is every single year it seems to be that the red zone defense, despite how great their defense is, even 2 years ago when their defense was off the charts, struggles in the red zone. Still seems to be thing. I think it's because they play too much man coverage, even when they get in the red zone, where that's not where man coverage is going to flourish. So other than that, I feel very confident.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of spend a lot of it talking about the Cleveland offense. Man, Carson Wentz with no run support. He's not going to have run support. Then that pass rush, that's a nightmare over there. Next up, Giants Saints. And this is an interesting one because on one hand, it's like, all right, guys, let's pump the brakes. The Giants got to win, but they averaged 4.4 yards per play. It wasn't an offensive explosion. But on the other hand, you got Jackson Dart making his first road start, but then you look at Jackson Dart's collegiate career. This dude has started, Jackson Dart. He's probably the most seasoned college football quarterback ever. He's at LSU twice, at Florida, at South Carolina, at Alabama, at Auburn, at Georgia, at Texas A&M. Like, this dude has more of a tougher road resume than some NFL quarterbacks. I think the Superdome's like a step down for Jackson Dart. But yeah, I'm all ears with this one. I have a couple thoughts, but I didn't land on anything, so I'm all ears.
I'll hit lead off here and let Troy jump in after. This is the second best bet on the board for me.
Okay.
Second best bet on the entire board. It is the New Orleans Saints. We are at absolute business here. This is wheelhouse type situation. You're selling the Giants high, traveling across the continent with Jackson Dart banged up. You have the public, 62% of the public tickets on the Giants. A line clearly moving to New Orleans. 57% of the cash. Line clearly moving to New Orleans. You have Rattler. Rattler's looked pretty good. And that rush the rush offense for the Saints is so much stronger than I expected it to be in every aspect. So the Saints' first 2 games at home, I was really impressed with. And everyone's like, well, they didn't cover either of those games. But they were in those games and could have won those games on the final drive. They go into Seattle, they get absolutely destroyed. They play pretty good football against the Bills. The Cole Bishop interception was spectacular, and it changed the entire game. I think that the Saints here with Kamara back home we can sell the Giants high, buy the Saints low. How often do you see an 0-4 team with the public on the other side and the line moving towards your 0-4 team? Well, that 0-4 team is going to be in business here. Take it away, Troy.
Are you muted?
Sorry, my bad. I was coughing up a lung over here. Not just moving towards them. Line moving towards this line completely flipped. We've seen a flippening in this game, and that makes me extremely bullish -2.5s at home. Line moving towards a bad football team is also a bullish ATS scenario, over 65% over the past few years since 2022. And I'm not going to overreact. I'm definitely not going to overreact. I seen that spot last. We've talked about that Chargers-Giants spot till we were blue in the face. It was a perfect spot. It was a perfect spot for that Giants team. The Chargers coming off 3 divisional games, 3-0, going on the road, a sleepy noon start. It was a terrible spot. They took advantage of it. Now, where the Giants, did they look incredibly? They look better. I'm not going to lie, they look better. Russell Wilson, insert Jackson Dart, you're going to have a much better chance to win football games. Let's be honest, Dart did not really look that good in the pocket. He did not have a presence in the pocket. Over 50% of his attempts were in the center of the field, in between the hashes. That's a terrible sign, a red flag for me. And he was under pressure. We know this offensive line is bad. Under pressure on almost 40% of his dropbacks. Now, on those dropbacks, he had 0 completions. So he had 11 dropbacks, 0 completions. He got sacked 5 times in those situations. He was not even considering throwing the football. Now you get Jackson Dart. You got tape on him. You got film on him. The Saints are going to be able to adjust. Yes, he gives them a better chance to win, but his offensive line is still bad. No neighbors to lean on. There's going to be no vertical threats on the field. It's going to make it harder for Jackson Dart. And I do like this New York Giant defense. I mean, obviously, when you're that good on the defensive line, it gives your defense a chance in general. But it takes a good pass rush away, a great running game. And the Giants football team is 26th in run D per PFF. They're 31st in yards per carry. And, an 0-4 team is favorites at home. Lines flying their way. This is a Saints money line spot. I bet the Saints money line -122. I would still endorse the 2.5.
I jumped on the double result at +180 on top of it. So I have the Saints money line and the Saints double result for the big score that I think I'll be in line for. My pops is a season ticket holder for the Chargers. He told me, he was in Vegas this past weekend. He was all over the Giants. He told me Chargers aren't going to make the playoffs. Their offensive line is so horrifically beaten up, and now with no alt. And Herbert already holds on to the ball for too long. So he was on the Giants in Vegas. The fact that the Chargers lost is not a huge surprise. What's glorious is that we get to take advantage of it here and get a much better line than we would usually get.
So good news. I agree. I was leaning Saints, and like Troy said, this Giants run defense is next level bad. And you're thinking, oh, Kyle, the Saints can't run the ball. Yo, dude, neither can the Chiefs, neither can the Cowboys. Well, the Cowboys actually been already running the ball. The Chargers, they just beat the Chargers. Omarion Hampton had 12 carries for 128 yards in the game. They averaged over 10 yards per carry as a team in that game, the Chargers. This team cannot stop the run at all. And in addition to not stopping the run at all, now you got Dexter Lawrence missing practices. You got Nunez Roches, the other defensive lineman, missing practices. You got both safeties missing practices. So there might even be missing pieces on the Giants defense. And then here's the kicker. Surprised you guys didn't mention this. You want to know why? Oh, yeah, obviously neighbors. But you want to know why they're missing practices and why you take the Saints here despite all that? Because the Giants play the Eagles in 72 hours after this game on Thursday night at home in Giants Stadium. They got the new quarterback. They just picked up a home win in front of their home fans. You think they want this one? No. They want the Eagles on Thursday night. So it's on Thursday night. It's 72 hours after this. So it's right after. I wouldn't be surprised if Dexter Lawrence sits. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants rest a few pieces just to make sure they have their best fastball with their shiny new quarterback on Thursday Night Football against the Eagles. So, yeah, I was already leaning that way. The reason I didn't place the bet, I'm a little worried that the Saints finally got their offensive line back, and now they're going to be missing 2 pieces again. They just got healthy, and now it looks like Penning's out, and Cesar Ruiz got hurt in the Bills game. So, I mean, this guy, Spencer Rattler, can't catch a break. He finally gets a healthy offensive line. They immediately get hurt again. So, yeah, Saints, I agree, but I don't, as of right now, I don't have a bet on it.
Ruiz is a problem week to week with an ankle injury. It's a big loss. But McCoy is a Pro Bowl center.
Yeah.
I think this is good. The public's going to be all over the Giants. We know that. Public's all going to. I really think this isn't even going to. I think this is going to be a comfortable victory. That's why I went for the double result for the score as well on top of the money line. This is a perfect spot. This is the second best spot on the board.
I agree. It's just the Saints are bad, so I'm a little hesitant, but I agree with everything you guys said. Next game up. Curious to see where you guys are going. I placed the bet, but I kind of got screwed. I had no idea. This is another one I placed at open. I had no idea the Bucs were this injured. So I'm holding the Bucs ticket. Hopefully all these guys play. But why don't you guys go ahead? I'll put my Bucs up. I placed it on Sunday afternoon when the market reopened, and now I'm looking at the Bucs injury report. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, I'm on the Bucs, and I actually have a bet on this. What do you guys think?
This is definitely this grew to be my favorite play of the week after digging into the matchup and actually just looking at the market itself. I should really start there. You do not want to bet teams in the NFL +3, +3.5. You just certainly don't. Since 2022, they're just performing so bad. I think I was texting Jimmy before the show started that I really believe that it's probably the biggest trap line, because usually when you're betting a 3, 3.5, you're betting a decent team on the road. I mean, it looks so appealing, but they just continue to lose football games. I'm talking about this now for towards the end of last season and all year this season. It's just been cashing nonstop. So the market's in good shape, but the matchup also favors the Seahawks. Darnold versus Bowles scheme. We know what Bowles wants to do. He wants to blitz and he wants to play zone, which is a great matchup for Sam Darnold. Again, zone coverage, passer rating +10 points, yards per attempt from 7.8 to 9.3, completion percentage up by 6%. His EPA triples. Versus the blitz, you have similar numbers. In my opinion, this is a quarterback that's clearly performing at a top 10 caliber. Now, he hasn't played the competition necessarily at this point, and this Bucs team would be a great matchup for them. But I do also think this about this matchup for Darnold is after week 1, the Seahawks team started running a bunch of play action, and a zone blitzing scheme does not work well versus a team that can play action. Now that it does, you do need to run the ball effectively for that play action to work, obviously. So I just love the matchup for the offense, and I love the matchup for the defense as well. McDonald, you're going to see cover 4, cover 6, and it's one of my favorite schemes to watch. It's what I would be running if I was a defensive coordinator. And what this team, the Seahawks team, is able to do is they're able to apply pressure without blitzing. They blitz at the second lowest rate in the NFL, but they apply pressure at the 5th highest rate in the NFL. You have the Seahawks with extra rest to prepare for Baker Mayfield, who is not as good for zone coverage, and now he doesn't have Evans on the field. Passer rating for Baker Mayfield against zone falls by 15 points. I mean, I can just go down the list. Yards per attempt, EPA, completion percentage, all those falls considerably, way more than the average. And when you're looking at the differentials between splits and the worst split specifically. So I think the matchup is elite. I love that the fact the Seahawks have extra time to prepare. I love that they're just seeing a mobile quarterback. They're gonna be able to apply pressure, play zone coverage, which is awesome for a guy that wants to run the football, from the pocket. I'm on the Seahawks. I bet at -3, -118. I bet the Seahawks and the Colts money line parlay. I think the Colts market is very similar to the Rams market. I loaded up on this team. The money line definitely shows the most value for me. So I do have it money line parlay a few different ways, but I definitely endorse the 3, 3.5 at this point.
Are you on the Seahawks too, Jim?
I think it's the best bet on the board is Seahawks here. Troy and we hammered the Dolphins against the Jets, hammered the money line, double result. We kept adding to our position. And the most important factor in that was not X's and O's to me. It was the Jets' back-to-back road games against a Bills team with extra rest to prepare. Now we have the exact same thing here with the Seahawks. The Seahawks have extra rest to prepare against a Bucs team that's battered, that just played the defending Super Bowl champions. They just played 2 games in the heat. Now, I know that they live down there and they're more comfortable with the heat. 2 straight games with the heat. No Bucky going out on the road to play a rested Seahawks team. We kept adding to our Dolphins action. It wasn't because the Dolphins were X's and O's that much better than the Jets. And the Seahawks, the Buccaneers are a really good football team. Now they're banged up, but they're a really good football team. This is just a situational nightmare for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Seattle Seahawks are going to take advantage of it. Josh Witt, is Bucky Irvin out? Yes. He's been in a walking boot and crutches.
Yeah, he had an MRI, walking boot and crutches. I'm pretty sure that would mean he's out, even though he hasn't been announced out.
And this is like This is just not fair. And did we see what that Seahawks pass rush looked like? And you can say the Cardinals offensive line this week, but 6 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. You have Ernest Jones, Kobe Bryant all over the place. It's not fair situationally.
Well, the injuries I was worried about are on the other side of the ball. Jamel Dean, Levante David, Hassan Reddick. Logan Hall will play because he was on the injury report last year. So I need the Bucs defense to be healthy. But if the Bucs defense are healthy, Baker Mayfield these are the games where he just shows up and plays. I mean, you just look at this guy, the history of this guy. When he shows up is when he goes to Arrowhead and goes into Detroit and beats them, and then he goes into actually Baltimore. He did lose by 10 last year, but this is when he shows up, or these huge games against these tough defenses, and he's got good numbers under pressure, and he always seems to get it done in the spots where nobody expects him to get it done, and then they'll be laying 9.5 to the Saints, and he'll play like shit.
It's totally valid, but this offense is different without Liam Cohen there.
Yeah,
and we have a Buccaneers offense right now that's 29th in the league in the red zone, 22nd on third down. This isn't the offense that we remember last year, and they can, Mayfield's a dog. He's a junkyard dog, man. If you love football, he's got to have earned your respect, he's earned mine.
He's the best, bro. Baker Mayfield, watching him, I mean, it's magical what he's able to do. It's hard to fade him. It really is.
And it just, even when they play like shit, it's like Baker's going to get the ball at the end of the game. He's going to drive down and score. We've seen it twice already this year. We almost saw it a third time against the Eagles.
Those magical 60, 70-yard touchdown passes are just like, that's what he does.
Yeah, and he just always does it. And I think Sam Darnold is also a little bit of a ticking time bomb. He does have excellent numbers against the blitz so far this year, and he was actually pretty good against the blitz last year. But when I bet this, I was like, oh, this shouldn't be 3.5. This should be 2.5, 3. And it's still sitting at 3.5, and I'm sure that the Bucs injuries certainly has something to do with that too. But the way I looked at it is like, this game's going to come down. Even if the Seahawks are the better team and the Seahawks are up 10 in the fourth quarter, I still think my bet's super live at plus 3.5. Down the stretch of the game, I trust Baker Mayfield to drive down the field over Sam Darnold. But like I said, if the Bucs defense is missing a bunch of pieces, then I'm dicked here.
And like Jonathan Apreza Hernandez saying, he's wondering if he should pay the extra juice for the 3. Both Troy and I paid for the 3. So, I mean, that's not a sign of huge confidence. Troy got -3, -118. I got -3, -122. Troy added to it, though, by tying it with the Colts, and I added to it by tying it to a spot in our next game.
All right.
But I will say this, too. In the sample, in this market type, you see a lot of these games landing on 3. So the hook is important, but even with the hook, historically, in a market such as this, it still hasn't worked out. It's still an unprofitable bet taking the 3.5. Now, that could just be a time frame thing, and it'll turn around, but we'll see.
Let's move on to the last game. Kansas City, Jacksonville. You picked. Interesting choice. So I think the number one question in this one is this Jags defense for real? Because the numbers are like, is this one of the strongest defenses in the NFL here in Jacksonville? So I'm all ears. I don't know. I kind of think of at a flat 3. That we haven't seen. I don't think Jacksonville's secondary is very good, even though the numbers don't show that. And I think Mahomes is the type of guy that'll just never get off the field and just pick on that secondary a little bit at a time and just never get off the field. So I think at a flat 3, I would lean towards the Chiefs. But the Jaguars are such a moving, like I can't seem to pinpoint where I should price this Jaguars team. Am I pricing the Jags as a top 5 defense? So I'm having a hard time with them. What do you guys think?
Well, obviously, the Chiefs got me and looked like a different offense with Xavier Worthy. But I'm not backing the Chiefs as much as I don't believe the Jaguars are as good as they've looked. The San Francisco winning at San Francisco was beaten and broken. And San Francisco had a chance to win that game. The Jaguars defense hasn't been tested, and we're going to see it tested, on Monday. Something changed there. Chris Jones coming back from his dad's funeral. Something changed. Xavier Worthy in the lineup. The Ravens coming to town. And then the Jags still have issues defensively, even with the weak competition they face. Third down defense, 29th in the league, 45.6%. We hear so much about what this pass rush is doing. Is it really doing that much? They're getting 1.8 sacks per game. It's 23rd. And again, this is going to be a difficult offensive line. Although the Chiefs' offensive line isn't what it was last year, it's still strong. I think the Chiefs go into Jacksonville and continue the role that they set at home against Baltimore. So I moved on them. Now, the question was, how are we going to make the most money out of the Chiefs? Because we both got the 3, Troy and I. He chose a different route than I. As he tied the Seahawks to the Colts, I tied the Seahawks to the Chiefs. That was my extra addition at plus 139. And Troy went a different route that I almost went, but I decided not to.
You're on the Chiefs team, Troy?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh no. I was passing you the rock.
Yeah. All right. Let me take it. I'm gonna drive to the hoop real quick. This Chiefs team. Last time I was on this show, I was talking about this Chiefs team. Like, I just do not want to bet this team. So every time I do end up betting this team, and Jimmy and I pick these games that we send Kyle, which ones we want to talk about, and it's a lot of the time. There's only been one game I think we've been on opposite sides. This is another game we're on the same side, and I do want to slam the brakes on the Chiefs offense just a little bit because, I mean, after what we've just seen, obviously everyone's going to think this offense is back. But what has this Ravens defense done to make us think that was an impressive performance, especially considering all the injuries that they sustained, not only before that game without Van Noy, Matabuke, then Roquan goes down, Humphrey goes down. Humphrey's terrible. Hopefully he never comes back. But the KC offense is significantly better with Worthy on the field. There's no doubt about that. But we need to see how that plays out against quality competition. And this Jaguars defense, I was talking about this in the preseason. My one thing with this Jaguars team was this defense. Right now, they're grading out 3rd in PFF. I love that the scheme they're rolling out on a daily basis, and they have great linebackers that could play a scheme, a cover 4. I mean, they're playing quarters and cover 3 a lot. With Alukin and Lloyd, who are great in coverage. You have 4 elite players, one at every level, at least one at every level. You got Hines Allen on the line. You got 2 great linebackers. You got Jordan Lewis, who's playing out of his mind at DB. But again, against who? The 49ers, the Texans, the Bengals, the Panthers. This is not as strong. That doesn't really give me much faith in what I've seen from this defense now. But what we have seen looks good. The problem with the Jags is Trevor Lawrence. And his advanced metrics pretty much all align with rookies or, young quarterbacks or terrible quarterbacks. Another guy with a red flag, 50% of his throws coming in between the numbers, similar to Geno Smith and other young quarterbacks. Failing grades outside the numbers to both sides of the field. His deep passing attempts, it's under 8%. That's Cam Ward, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, Mac Jones. They're not stretching the field vertically. That's really going to, restrict what your offense is able to do. You need to stretch that field. They're not able to do that. I think Trevor Lawrence is also just a below-average quarterback at this point. There's really no reason to believe he's anything else than what he's put on film for the past few years because now he's got a great coordinator. And I think the coordinator is really carrying this offense because what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence is not impressive, especially versus the strength of schedule he's had. So, yeah, I think Spagnuolo is going to demoralize Trevor Lawrence. This is a must-win spot. Chiefs are 2-2. They're on prime time. They got the Lions on deck. They need to win this game. And, again, we're looking at a 3.5. This is one of my favorite numbers to bet a favorite. So I'm on the Chiefs -3, and I got the Chiefs double result plus 137, 2 units on this play. And I'm going to be betting the under in this game. I'm seeing we're starting to hit the ceiling, hit resistance at 46.5. We're probably not going to get to that key 47. So I might just pull the trigger. So I'll be moving on this under, but there's really no rush between 45.5 and 46.5.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, I was leaning Chiefs, and I'd be down to bet the Chiefs at a flat 3. And it's circling around the same idea as you guys did. Okay, so clearly the Jags defense is better than we thought, and you don't want to take away credit for accomplishments. They look strong, and maybe I could buy into a little bit to the front 7, but you're not going to convince me that secondary is good because they haven't been tested at all. When has the Jags defense been tested? Against Browning and the Bengals? That's the game they lost and got cooked on by Browning. And then in the 49ers game, the Jags won that game. San Francisco turned the ball over 4 times, guys. They couldn't get Brock Purdy off the field. I think Brock Purdy had a 60% success rate per dropback or something. Successful play after successful play. They couldn't get Brock Purdy off the field unless they gave them the football. That was the only way they were getting them off the field. And that's just the terrible recipe when you're playing Patrick Mahomes, because that's what he specializes in. It doesn't always light up the stat sheet, but you can't get the guy off the field. 3rd and 6, he's hitting somebody right by the sticks, and he's going to fall down over the line. And if you're against the Chiefs, you're like, come on! And then the next 3-yard play, then 3rd and 4, hits the guy right in the chest. He falls over the sticks. You just can't get the guy off the field. And that's exactly what we saw from the Jags defense against San Francisco, who's not nearly as good as Brock Purdy's not nearly as talented as Mahomes. So, yeah, I think at a flat 3, it's got to be the Chiefs, Trevor Lawrence, like they said. You also, when it comes to the Jags defensive front, they haven't been tested as far as a run game either. But, I mean, I don't know if I would consider the Chiefs a rushing offense. So, yeah, I like the Chiefs at a flat 3. I'd be down to bet this. I was already leaning this way before I heard what you guys had to say. So
That pass defense from the Jags, allowing 233.5 yards per game, 24th in the NFL. Again, I said their third down defense. They allow conversions 45.6% of the time, 29th in the NFL. Against who?
Yeah.
Against weak opposition. This is a spot where we find out who the Jags really are. And like you said, their defense is better than we expected. The team is better than we expected. Etienne has been so much better than I expected. But I think they're in trouble, especially, as Troy mentioned, with the Chiefs having the Lions on deck. They got to take care of business here Monday in Jacksonville.
Yeah, agreed. And so, by the way, these graphics, they show whatever is open at Pinnacle. So that's 3.5. You can get flat 3s. So if you are betting the Chiefs, make sure you get a 3. All right, gentlemen. Oh, by the way, Troy, someone said in the comments I cut you off during the Rams game. Did you have more? I didn't even realize I did that. I apologize.
No. I might have missed 1 or 2 things I want to say on that game, but it's just as a teaser game. I'm not going to be taking the spread, especially at 8.5. That number's getting out of control. I was betting teasers at 6, 6.5, and now it's at 5.5. Shit, I got plus halves on that. Yeah, no, if I did miss it, it's all good. No problem, Kyle.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that I did that until I read the comment. But yeah, remember, these guys have the bankroll blitz. They go through the whole NFL slate. It was last night, so you can go watch it now. Any other shows coming up this week they can check out?
We host all the live streams, but our Sunday NFL Pub Hub, I have 8 cappers on each week. It's season 5, and I track every single person who's ever been on the show. They come on, their record is up there. So you see who's succeeding, who's not succeeding. Generally, we bring back the cappers who are winning. But season 5, so we have all the data for all the cappers. We usually get about 50, 60 cappers a year. It's a fun show on Sundays.
Cool. And I typed into the comments Pub Sports Radio, spelled just like that. Just type it into the search bar. You'll find it. And their NFL show with these 2 guys is called Bankroll Blitz. It was last night, so you go check that out.
Thanks so much for having us, Kyle. Good luck, everybody in the chat. Look, we don't have to agree. 13-13. You can disagree and disrespect all of our takes. If you can fade us and you win, if it provides value for you. Good luck to everybody in the chat. And Kyle, thanks so much for having us, man.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk some college football. I'll talk to you guys later.
Later.
All right, it is Wednesday, so we've got Kyle Hunter here and Jay Sternberger here, like the last few Wednesdays. I had a good college football Saturday. How did you guys do? Did you guys have a good one?
I moved money around last weekend on Saturday and did well in the NFL on Sunday, so no big complaints here.
Jace?
Besides my stretch on Arkansas money line, it was a good weekend. Especially, I was surprised about the A&M under. I was nervous about that, but after the first quarter watching, I was like, this might be my best bet of the week.
Yeah. I was watching that game. I was like, yeah, he nailed this one. That under was the way to go. Got some cool games on this week. We picked out 7 to talk about here. We're starting out in the Big 12. We got Iowa State on the road at Cincinnati. And you might be wondering, when you first glance at this one, you might be wondering why Cincinnati is laying points to undefeated, looking unstoppable Matt Campbell Iowa State team. The injuries to Iowa State defense probably has a lot to do with this. They lost both their corners last week. Jontez Williams and Jeremiah Cooper, both out for the season. So Iowa State just took a blow to the secondary last week. That's certainly going to hurt them moving forward, and specifically in this matchup, because you're missing both your corners and you're going on the road to see Brendan Sorsby, who seems to be heating up. Because his last 3 games, he's got a QB rating of up close to 129. He's averaging 325 passing yards per game. So not only does Iowa State lose both corners for the year, but now they go on the road against Cincinnati. That's Satterfield seems to have that offense rolling. I have questions about the Cincinnati defense. We'll get into that. But this is a bad spot to be going in missing your corners because Sorsby cooking right now. So, Kyle, you think Matt Campbell's able to make stops in this game without his corners?
I mean, this is a tough game for a side for me because Cincinnati's defense has been atrocious, and Iowa State's pass defense now without those 2 guys. I knew we'd be without one of them for sure, but both of them going to be out here in this one. Is Sorsby this good? I mean, if you look at his PFF numbers, he's rated as the highest PFF rated quarterback with over 100 dropbacks. In the past, he's been super inconsistent. I'm a little bit unwilling to trust that he's that good right away. Now, maybe he'll look good in a game like this. I trust Matt Campbell more than I trust Scott Satterfield, but Iowa State is more banged up. The way I'd go on this one is the over. I think both teams will score points here in this game. Cincy's offense, 9th in PPA per pass, 14th in PPA per rush, so balanced, solid all around. Pryor's been a nice weapon for them in the run game. Sorsby is a dual threat guy too. He can scramble pretty well. Since he pushing the pace, 22nd in the nation in tempo, so you're going to see them running quite a bit. They're 6th best in points per scoring opportunity, so when they get in the red zone, they are scoring touchdowns. I think Iowa State's going to have a lot of success too, though, because Chase Soule, really good pickup, 146 yards on 4 catches last week, I should say. Iowa State's offensive line has struggled a bit. Since he does have a weak pass rush, though, Iowa State's 2nd least penalized team in the country. That's one of the big positives for them. Similar schedule strength played, 29th and 26th in PPA margin. So I feel like these are pretty even teams. Sure looks like a close game coming. Could it go to overtime? It certainly could. I'll take the over here.
Could not agree more. And my pick for this game would also be the over. If you put a gun to my head, well, if you threaten me and force me to make a pick on a side, I think I would take Cincinnati. But then, and honestly, just based on who's going to be on the field, the situation, I would say maybe up even close to 2.5, 3. But like you said, Matt Campbell is just a coach I trust. And how many times have we seen it in college football, especially where one team looks significantly better than the other team, but the more disciplined team and the better coach just finds a way to win it at the end? And I could see that being the case. Now, like Kyle said, Cincinnati's defense, it's a little bit concerning. If you are looking to play on Cincinnati, you can point at the fact that I think they should be healthier. They got their linebacker back last week. His name's Jack Dingle, and they got a cornerback last week as well. So a couple pieces that were injured are now back in the lineup. And also they have a big defensive tackle, Dante Corleone, who's missed the last 2 games. He's one of the best players on the team. There's a chance he might be back for this one. So if you're looking to play on Cincinnati, you could say the defense is healthier. I still don't think this defense is capable of making stops, though. Like Kyle said, the pass rush they've been really struggling to generate pressure. And Rocco Becht all season, when he's had a clean pocket, he's made teams pay. So I won't be betting Cincinnati, but I like the over as my pick, and I'm putting Cincinnati up as my pick on a side, but I won't be betting that. Jace?
I think you can make every argument on why Cincinnati could win this game. You know, being at home, offense is rolling. They just had a big win against Kansas. However, Kansas has no defense. If they had any defense whatsoever, they beat Missouri, 2 weeks ago? Offense came out on fire, and I feel like 90% of the time, if your offense is giving you that effort on the road, and scoring 21 points in the first half, you should be able to win the game. But they have no help on the defensive side of things as well. The football player in me, though, is I see Matt Campbell in plus money, and I'm like, what could go wrong? This is an automatic bet. However, I would lean to the over just because you said both defenses aren't very good. Sorsby is rolling. He didn't play bad against Nebraska. Their offense just kind of looked out of whack in game 1. And I'm not going to give them too much credit for beating Kansas. Again, like I said, it was a high-scoring game. That does give me confidence, but I just don't know how you would if you had to pick a side, I don't know how you go against Iowa State just based off of the strength of Matt Campbell and the experience at quarterback. And Iowa State, like you said, they're a disciplined football team. And but then I can argue the same thing. Well, Cincinnati, they're hot, they're playing at home, and I think the gambler in me is going to take Matt Campbell. But as Spoon would say, I haven't made it to the ticket window yet. But I have placed the over.
Yeah, I'm spot wise. I think it leans towards Cincinnati as well. You got to think Satterfield's coaching for his job this year, and Matt Campbell is most certainly, he might have the safest job in the country. I mean, there's Campbell isn't even anywhere in the same vicinity as the hot seat. So meanwhile, Iowa State, everything's kind of gone their way this year. Not that you could ever afford to take a loss at college football, but with the injuries going on the road, it's almost like I could actually see Iowa State dropping this one when this is a statement win for Cincinnati at home. So spot wise, I think it favors Cincinnati as well, but over would be the pick. Whoa, whoops. Next up, Virginia, Louisville. Jace, you picked this game. We're in the ACC. We all had Virginia last week. That was what a game. Actually, all three of the games Friday night were awesome, but what a game we saw here. So, are you drinking the Virginia Cavs Kool-Aid here?
I am, and the reason why I picked this game because it's not like that super exciting matchup wise, but I don't get to talk to two sharps every day, and I wanted to know why I'm crazy for being on Virginia because, again, I'm the most anti-emotional hangover win person out there. Like if A&M didn't have that bye week after they beat Notre Dame, whoever they're playing, I would have took that team in the points just because anytime you have that emotional win, a program-changing win at that. I just think you're bound to come out flat no matter how much you try to avoid it, whatever may come with that. I think you're going to come out flat. But 7.5 points on the road against Louisville, who was, they had a comeback win against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's not like just something I'm ready to watch every Saturday because they're just putting out good product. And I just think 7.5 is a lot of points on the road, regardless of them having a huge win against Florida State. And we're starting to get into conference play. I don't think either of these teams it's going to be a blowout or a 2-possession game, and it could be a backdoor cover or you lose on the backdoor bad beat. But I just think Tony Elliott has a good thing going in Virginia, and I'm 100% drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't think the over is a bad bet either because Louisville's running backs are both elite, and I don't know how they're going to test that Virginia rush defense.
Yeah, well, I actually bet the under in this game. I actually disagree I kind of lean towards the Louisville side. I'm not betting it. But that's
what I'm afraid everybody, like Louisville is going to blow them out is what I'm afraid this line says.
Well, okay. So obviously we all have Virginia. Awesome game. There's a couple takeaways from that Florida State game. Number one, when Florida State had the ball, when they handed it off, they were not seeing much resistance from the Virginia defense. And that's a little bit concerning going into this one. Because like you said, Louisville's got some RBs. And based on the fact that Miller Moss has been unimpressive so far this year, Louisville's coming off a game where they were lucky to steal a win at Pitt. Pitt turned the ball over 5 times. Louisville didn't go in there and win, but they went in there. Miller Moss had no run support at all. They averaged 1.64 yards per carry in that Pitt game. Pitt has an elite run defense. So Louisville went in there against an elite run defense, found a way to come out with a win. Now they go back home and see a run defense that's not so elite. They saw what Florida State just did to this defensive front. I think the game plan here is to make this as easy as possible for Miller Moss. And if you're a Louisville fan, Miller Moss didn't play poorly at Pittsburgh. He didn't set the world on fire. Like I said, the lead story was Pittsburgh's turnovers, not Miller Moss or anything. But he was all right for a road game without run support. Not the easiest spot for a quarterback to be. And Miller Moss played all right in that game. So now back at home, he should have run support. Just a much different situation for Miller Moss. And another aspect of the Virginia-Florida State game that's jumping out at me, and I'm sure you guys remember this. Late in that game, in the second half, Virginia was handing the ball off and just slamming it between the tackles on Florida State. And I think there was an element of, like, holy shit, I don't think anyone saw that coming on that one drive where they handed it off like 11 of 12 snaps. And Louisville is a very tough defensive front, and they just saw that. So they're like, oh, yeah, I would love you to come try that here. Like, I think Louisville's not going to be caught off guard by Virginia trying to run the ball. They're going to make Chandler Morris beat him, who's capable of it. But, yeah, I lean towards the Louisville side. I think they win by 10. But
is that offensive lineman back for Virginia?
No. The center, I don't think he's going to be back. I think he's doubtful. Actually, I don't want to misspeak. I'm pretty sure he's not back, but I can't say with certainty. I think we're going to see long, sustained drives from Louisville, hand the ball off, hold on to the ball for 8-9 minutes at a time, force Virginia to play from behind. So I took the under 62.5 is actually the bet I have. Small lean towards the Louisville side on a side. Break the tie, Kyle.
Well, I mean, I think we had tons of agreement on the first game. We have a decent amount of disagreement here in this game. I think I would take the over if I had to take something here, Kyle. As far as the side, 7.5, I'd take Virginia. 7, it's probably a pass for me. But I think that Louisville was just completely handed the game last week. Pitt with some awful turnovers. Holstein's pick in the red zone that time, I mean, one of the worst picks I've seen in years. 5 turnovers. Louisville 4.6 yards per play. They definitely didn't really have a lot of success on offense. Pitt was also 1 for 10 on third downs, 1 for 4 on fourth downs. So I think Louisville kind of backed into a win in that game. Now, I do agree, Kyle, that this situational spot-wise, this is a spot for Louisville. I mean, you have Virginia off this massive win. That was one of the best field stormings I've seen in a long time, too. Awesome. That was epic. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I mean, and the quickest one I think I've ever seen. So
for sure.
Jace, I'll ask you a question. Have you been in the middle of a field storm like that at any point?
Yes, they stormed the field when we beat Kentucky. That was a ranked game at home in overtime. But then the 74-72 7 overtime game against LSU, that was that was the craziest storm field, and that's when Kevin Falk ended up throwing a punch and hitting Jimbo Fisher's nephew, who was a receivers coach, on the field. And I was like, yeah, I'm not breaking that up.
Okay, so you do have a couple epic ones for sure. Those can get pretty wild. I think that it's fair, and I know that just situational spot handicappers are going to bet Louisville here in this game. I think, though, when I look at the numbers, these two teams have been so similar. They're 94th and 95th in strength of schedule at Sagarin, 21st in PPA margin for Louisville, 25th for Virginia. I think it's hard for me to lay 7 or 7.5 points when these two teams have been so similar. I mean, you're just going solely on the spot. Virginia's 18th in penalty yards per game. Louisville's 122nd. That's certainly interesting. You're laying points. You're getting penalized constantly. Chandler Morris has been amazing. I think he's one of the best portal pickups there's been. The guy's a good passer. He's a good runner. Virginia kind of did a good job here in the transfer portal quietly, put themselves in a good situation. Virginia does give up big plays, 114th in explosiveness allowed. So I think Louisville will hit some big plays here. If I were forced to bet a side here, I would take Virginia, but I'd want the 7.5. I'll take over 61. Virginia makes games high scoring. I think they can make this one high scoring too.
Well, I have under 62.5, so maybe we could both hit.
Maybe 62.
Yeah, we need 62. Damn, I forgot to set the screens up. All right, Texas, Florida. I have a bet in this game, but I'm ashamed to even say what it is. Kyle, any interest in taking a shot on Billy Napier here?
Well, if you're ashamed to say what it is, I'm thinking you're probably taking Florida here in this one. But, it's hard to take Texas here. I mean, Texas laying a full touchdown. What is the total here? 41? Yeah, 41.5. Really low total. Kyle, I saw this one on the look-ahead lines last week. They set this one at like 52.5 or 51.5. Just a ridiculous number there. Even the 45.5 was too high that this one was on Sunday night, but 41.5, I don't know. I don't like taking 41.5 unders very often. Texas is 126th in penalty yards per game. I think it's hard to lay points there. I mean, Lagway versus the Texas defense, though, does make me worry. I mean, what's Lagway going to do? This is a guy who has really not looked good even in a clean pocket. Look at his PFF numbers this year when kept clean. 4 big-time throws, 6 turnover-worthy plays, a 62 PFF grade. I mean, something's wrong with DJ Lagway. Usually the differences in kept clean in the pocket versus under serious pressure type things are just massive. But Lagway's been bad in every situation so far. Having said that, It seems to me like Florida likes playing hard for Billy Napier. I think they still like him. They want him to be there. I know he's absolutely on the hot seat, but the players seem to like him. And Texas played Ohio State and then absolutely nobody. So their strength of schedule at Sagarin is 146th. Doesn't mean anything to me that you've scored a ton on Sam Houston. I don't think that matters at all. Now you go to the Swamp. I mean, Kyle, I'm going to have to lean +7 here. I haven't bet it. I don't know that I am going to bet it, but if I had to bet this game, I'd definitely take Florida +7 over laying the points here with Texas. Arch Manning certainly underperformed expectations. He's had a few great throws here and there, but very inconsistent. And if I had to bet the total, I'd still have to bet under. I feel like this could be like a 20-17 type game. It's just 41.5. That's brutally low.
Yeah, I agree. I got a +7.5. I got a good number. It doesn't make me feel any better about holding the Florida ticket, but I'm on Florida +7.5 here. I would still bet it at 7. I think it should be 5.5, 6. Honestly, all the concerns about DJ Lagway are 100% valid, right? You can't argue against any of them. I just don't understand what Arch Manning has done to separate himself by a touchdown on the road. He looked terrible in that Ohio State game. That was the opener in Columbus. I'm not one of the people on Twitter saying this guy sucks, like nothing like that. But I'm saying we haven't seen anything to say, hey, that's in the past. It's not like we've seen any evidence of he beat up on some bad teams. What would Arch Manning's season look like if his last few games were if he played Miami, at LSU, at Miami, South Florida, who's got an underrated defense? I mean, who's to say Arch Manning doesn't have the same stats that Lagway does right now if he played that schedule? So it's not that I believe in Lagway or I don't believe in Arch Manning. It's just that, in my opinion, they're both on a level playing field right now. Neither has proven anything to me. And there's Florida's been bad. It's been a really rough season for the Gators, but defensively, they're fine. Even though the 3 losses they just took, success rate 39.1%, 5.7 yards per play. They're allowing 21.3 points per game. The defense is holding up their end. So it's Arch Manning going on the road. This is very comparable to going to Columbus. Not quite the same. But if we're just talking about Florida's defense, going down to Gainesville and scoring points in the Swamp, it's not an easy task. It's not an easy spot for a quarterback to be in. So there's no way you could lay 7. Now maybe Arch Manning comes out and shows us that he's developed in a major way in the last month. And if that happens, I won't be like, oh, I'm so shocked. It's just I haven't seen evidence of it. Look, DJ Lagway against the Texas pass rush is freaking crazy, and I just don't see how that works. But I think Arch Manning could really struggle because we already saw him struggle in a tough road environment. Jace.
First off, I'm starting to think Todd Orlando has you on payroll because you're on the Todd Orlando hype train all season.
I've been saying it all summer, dude.
Yeah, and like anytime you get to compliment that defense, it's gonna go. But that's exactly what I had written down is I'm not counting the Ohio State game, good or bad. That was the first game of the year. It was at 11 a.m. Half the people weren't even up watching it. Nobody knew what to expect. That was a defensive slugfest, and honestly, I think that's what this game could be. Just like an old-fashioned Wisconsin versus Penn. I don't know, just some nasty Big Ten matchup where whoever has the best punter and whoever gets that one stop on the goal line is going to win this game because I have it written down, until Arch Manning proves me otherwise, I will fade him against the spread every week. Whenever they play Oklahoma, I already told you this, I'm taking Oklahoma money line just because Arch just has to show me. And if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be mad about it. Good for the kid because in my opinion, he really hasn't asked for any of this on him. It's just been forced on him just because his last name. He's not super obnoxious in the media, given a lot of bulletin board material. So it's not like I'm rooting against the kid. It's just his footwork is terrible, and I'm not a quarterback guru by any means. But you get a pass rush, and I know Texas's O line is more dominant than Florida's D line, but 7.5 at home, SEC play, and this is when I think Florida is a dangerous team. You would think when they have a lot to play for, but now their season's on the verge of being over. They really have nothing to lose. They're coming off a bye. This is as healthy as they're going to be for the rest of the year. And so it's they're kind of playing with house money at this point. Napier's already on his way out. Lagway might be on his way out. Health-wise, who knows? But when you said you weren't liking the pick, I thought you meant you were going to lay points with Arch. But
no.
Yeah, I'm on the Florida 7.5, and then the under is, I think that's a free play, but I think Florida at home, it might be live to upset. I genuinely think it's gonna be back and forth punt, whoever gets the best field position, and can maybe like the Nebraska Big 12 championship 12-9 or something, where the kickers are the only one who scores.
Yeah, I completely get it. And what you said, until he shows me otherwise, I'm going to fade Arch Manning against the spread. It's not so much a fade of him or a fade of the way he's being priced. 7-point road favorite in an SEC game, just for what cause?
I mean, if Arch played against, if you put Arch on that Florida team or that schedule, and they've played LSU, USF, and Miami, Arch might not even be in the game at this point. He might have already been benched if he played like how he played against Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
next up, we're staying in the SEC. Got a good number here. I'm on Vandy at 13.5. I'd still play it at 10.5 though. Jace, is this a revenge game in Tuscaloosa, or are you a believer in Mr. Pavia?
I'm a believer. I wasn't earlier in the season when I faded him against South Carolina, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that Bama just went to Georgia, beat Kirby Smart, huge road win, big, team. The morale's high right now, and so I feel not necessarily a letdown spot, because I still think Alabama is going to win, but I've learned too many times fading Diego on the road, trying to be cute when he's an underdog, and you're giving me him with 10. I just need to steal one possession, one defensive turnover, one something. Just let me get a fake 7 points, and then I'm up 17. Ty Simpson's been great, but also I think Vanderbilt's going to have a game plan. I like the 10.5. I got it at 11, but 10.5 is still good to me.
Yeah. I know everyone's going with the when I say everyone, there's a lot of people betting Vanderbilt, and I'm saying if the people that are betting Alabama are going with the, hey, they're going to take this one seriously. That's kind of the mentality, is like Alabama overlooked them last year. They're going to take them seriously, which I think there's validity to that. Maybe they got caught a little bit flat last year, and yeah, the Vanderbilt students carried the goalpost and chucked it in the river, like the ultimate like FU to Alabama. Here's the thing. I don't think Alabama taking him seriously should be double-digit fit. Vanderbilt hasn't just been good. In terms of efficiency, you can make an argument they've been the best team in college football so far this year. Yes, questionable schedule, and I'm not saying they are the strongest team in college football. I'm just saying it's not like last year we're like, oh, wow, this is adorable. Vanderbilt's competitive in a few games. They're dominant right now. They're second in the country in success rate, second in PPA on the offensive side. And on the defensive side, they're flirting with the idea of being a top 50 defense. They're actually looking strong against the run. This team looks very, very good. So the idea that just, Alabama taking it seriously, that might not be enough to cover a double-digit spread against this team, a team that just holds on to the ball whenever. And yet we want to question Vanderbilt's schedule. Fair. But you know what? You know who else was taking Vanderbilt seriously? South Carolina. They went in there and beat the hell out of them. 31-7. Like, okay, maybe their offense just 5.1 yards per play instead of the 8.6 they're averaging in their other 4 games. But they went on the road and played South Carolina, a road SEC game, and won by more than 3 touchdowns. What else do you need? I mean, this team is strong. I'd probably make this game 7, honestly, the way that Vanderbilt's playing. So, look, I know Alabama's 2 big data points. They were both on the road. So they might be a little bit stronger than being perceived. I mean, they were at Georgia and they were at Florida State. Those are like the 2 big games that everyone watched. So they were both on the road. We haven't seen them play like a huge game at home yet. Ty Simpson looks very good. But yeah, there's no way I can lay double digits to this Vanderbilt team. So yeah, I got 13.5. I'd still play it at 10.5. Kyle, you with me?
Yeah, 3 for 3 here. Taking Pavia and the points. I mean, there's no way I'm going against Pavia with 10.5 points. And I think 13.5 is a great number. I think 10.5 still a solid bet. I like 2 things in this game, guys. And since I won't have a strong opinion on some of the others, I'll say I like Vandy plus 10.5. I like the over a lot too. I think over 55.5. I think that's a good bet. I mean, Simpson's playing well. Vandy's defense hasn't really seen anybody like Alabama. And at the same time, Vanderbilt's first in the nation in success rate on offense, first in pass success rate, first in rush success rate. I know they haven't played great defenses, but is Bama an elite defense this year? I don't know. I mean, they're 50th in yards per play allowed so far this year. I don't think they're as good as they've been some of those other seasons. And Pavia, top 5 QB in all the major categories at PFF. I mean, he's excellent. And I think, Kyle, your point is completely right about everybody saying, well, they're not going to sleepwalk through this game again like they did last year. The problem is Vandy's a lot better than they were last year. I mean, Vandy was kind of fun last year. This year, they're actually really good. I think Vandy's gotten much better than they were a year ago. So even if Bama is completely motivated for this game, that doesn't mean it's a free 14-point win like some people say. So James Smith, one of the best defensive linemen for Alabama, also out the first half because of that targeting penalty. Questionable. I know people are going to say he shouldn't have been called targeting. I don't love the targeting rule, certainly how it's officiated, but he is out the first half here. I think that matters in a game like this. Tim Beck's doing a really good job as an OC. I think Vandy scores points here. And I mean, honestly, Diego Pavia is a dog, 8-2 against the spread as a dog at Vandy. A lot of those are outright wins. I'm not saying they're going to win outright, although the plus price of plus 340 is at least somewhat intriguing. I'd put some of it on the money line if you're betting Vanderbilt in a game like this. And I like over 55.5 a lot. I think Bama hit some big plays. Pavia has a lot of success. So Vandy plus and the over here.
I agree with the over as well. Next game. So far, you guys are hearing me getting good numbers. Now let's go to a game where I did not get a good number. It was Washington, Maryland. I bet this game. I'm on Maryland at 5.5. It's been bet up to 6.5, so I did not place a good. Well, at the moment, it's looking like I didn't place a good wager. We could always see some late movement. Is Washington the stronger team? Yes, but I think Maryland just might be better than we originally thought this year. I think we kind of are always like, oh yeah, Maryland beats up on some bad teams and then they get into Big Ten play and look like trash. That's kind of how that's the blueprint to a Maryland Terps season. They just went into Madison, won by 3 scores with a quarterback freshman making his first road start. I don't care how bad Wisconsin is. That's impressive as hell. 27-10 was the final score. And yes, when you're looking at Maryland's defensive numbers, they're 4th in success rate, 4th in PPA in the country defensively. Yes, those are probably a little cushioned by the fact that they've played an easier schedule. But can we say the same thing about Washington's offense? I mean, the first time they saw a decent defense was Ohio State. They scored 6 points in the game. 4.4 yards per play. So couldn't we make the same criticism about Washington's offense? They've been cushioning their stats a little bit against some weaker opponents. And honestly, I kind of feel the same thing about Washington's defense. They got some really nice-looking numbers on the season, but last 2 games, we saw what's-his-name, quarterback for Washington State, making throws at Eckhouse. The score of that game, Washington State, was 31-24 going into the fourth quarter. Washington State was moving the ball on Washington, and then they scored 28 points in the fourth quarter to make it look like a blowout. It wasn't. And not to mention this defense is still missing their linebacker, Buda Al-Agda. He's out for the season. So I think the criticism that Maryland's overrated from playing an easier schedule, I'm with that. Makes sense. I kind of think you get to say the same criticism to Washington, and I just don't know how you make this line 6. Obviously, the market disagrees because it's been bet up to 6.5, but I'm on the Terps. I think they're alive. I think Malik Washington's a superstar. Let's go. Kyle, are you part of the movement that drove this up to 6.5?
I'm not. I have a lot of thoughts about this game. Nothing that I really love to bet here. I want Mike Locksley to prove it to me before I trust that he's going to continually be good throughout the Big Ten season, Kyle. I mean, year after year, we've seen it. You did say, the first half or so of the year, he's been decent, and then he just completely falls apart. Maryland's 15-28 against the spread under Locksley between Game 5 and the end of the season. I really, really want to fade Maryland, and I'm going to in some of the coming weeks, I should say. But this is too bad of a spot for Washington for me to bet it. They're going all the way across the country. I was looking into this. Last year, Washington was 0-4 straight up and 0-4 against the spread, traveling to a different time zone. So here we go after the Ohio State game. The only thing I'm going to disagree with Kyle on that he said the first time Washington played a decent defense in Ohio State. Ohio State's a lot better than a decent defense. Okay. I think you know that. I'm just giving you a hard time, and I'm a Buckeyes fan, so I have to say that, right? That was part of my deal. But I think Caden Curry was a beast in that game against Washington. He was doing everything for Ohio State. Is Maryland's defense actually good, though? I mean, they've played Florida Atlantic, turned it over in the red zone like every single time they got down there. Wisconsin with Danny O'Neal. O'Neal was bad at San Diego State and then goes to Wisconsin. He's been really bad there at Wisconsin. They played Towson. They played Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois just scored 3 points last week on San Diego State. I don't think Maryland's defense is nearly as good as they've looked so far this year. And I do think Washington's offense is good. Maryland coming off a bye, that should be a good thing. But you look back at the last 10 times they've come off a bye, they're 1-9 against the spread, 0-10 straight up. I mean, that's kind of crazy. You give them extra time to get ready. They've not been good. I don't think Loxley's that good of a coach. I think Damon Williams, Jonah Coleman will have some success hitting some big plays here, but I don't really trust the Washington defense a lot either. So because it's so conflicting on sides, I'm just going to lean toward the over 52.5 or 53 here.
I'm not mad at an over. What about you, Jace?
Completely opposite. I caught Washington at -5.5. More so to what Kyle was just saying, it all has to do with Loxley. And I get it. Playing early in the year, it's like maybe this isn't this traditional Maryland team where we get into the middle of Big Ten play. They played Wisconsin in week 3. Granted, I think we're only in week 6, so it's not like we're at the halfway point. So they still haven't really showed us anything. But as a wise man once told me, week 1, FAU was live. Like we wanted to take the 14.5 against Maryland because we knew their defense was god awful and their quarterback whatever it may be. And I'm again what Kyle said about Ohio State's defense. I think that's arguably one of the best defenses in the country, if not that. I don't think the score represents how the whole game went down. I think it was a little like. Granted, I was watching the A&M game, but I was keeping up with it on my phone. It seemed like Washington got down there a lot. They just couldn't finish, which is kudos to Ohio State for great, red zone defense. But I think this is I still think Washington thinks they can compete in the Big Ten, and I think Jed Fish is the better coach and is going to have his team better to play. I don't feel like this isn't like a slam it. You should, put your mortgage on this one. But I think Washington is going to sneak away with it in the second half.
Well, so far the market's saying that you definitely made the correct decision because we both got 5.5 and you're on the right side of it. So we'll see. Next game up. I'm more of a listener here. I think 4.5 on the road's a little much. I think looking back at Miami's data points, Notre Dame doesn't look as impressive now that we remember the opener. We were like, Carson Beck in this offense. This looks awesome. And then now we've seen Purdue piece that same defense up. And it's like, hold on. So I feel like looking back at Miami's data points, Florida and Notre Dame, and seeing how other teams have looked against them, I feel like that makes Miami look less impressive. So based on one loss to Virginia, we're laying 4.5 in Doe Campbell. This is where I want to go. I'm all ears, guys. Jace, what do you think?
This is going to be one of those games where everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. I'm on the over, just to state that. But I think it's going to be one of those games where in the first half, everybody in the Discord is like, this under was free. This under was free. This is so low scoring. This is blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what's going to happen. Something's going to happen where it sparks a point, and then it's going to end up being a shootout because I think both these offenses are going to move the ball. Neither defense is, I wouldn't say super elite. I mean, we just saw what happened to Florida State. They just gave up 46 points to Virginia. Obviously, they're going to have redemption in their mind. They're trying to fight back. Miami, they're coming off a bye week. Is that right? They're coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've had a little more time to get healthy and prep. They're going to have a good game plan, and I don't want to pick a side on this. Like I said, I think 4.5 is a lot to cover on the road in a rivalry game. I think this would come down to the last possession, but I think it would be a shootout towards the second quarter for the rest of the game.
All right, I don't hate an over. Kyle, what do you think? What do you think that my stance that this should probably be a flat 3?
Yeah, I think this should be 3 or 3.5, somewhere in that range. Miami has to be favored. They've certainly played well so far this year. Florida State got a little overvalued going into last week. I think all of us agreed on that. But now Florida State comes home. Castellanos has played pretty well so far this year. I'm still worried about his past turnover issues. I mean, I think you have to give Carson Beck a little bit of an edge as far as the better quarterback here, but 2 pretty good quarterbacks. Miami's offensive line has played well. I give Cristobal a lot of heck because he has failed to cover against the spread. We know his clock management issues at the end of the game have been so bad, but he is really good with offensive lines. And I think Miami's offensive front will have success in a game like this. I lean the over in this game. The only reason I'm a little bit scared to take the over, I haven't bet it. There is a chance of showers and thunderstorms here. I really don't want one of those long delays. I hate those weather delays where it's 3 hours of delay, they come back. I mean, remember the Eagles-Cowboys game. I mean, that was the freest over you could ever get, and then they come back and nothing happens. It seems like we've seen so many of those weather delays this year compared to what we used to. So I'm just leaning over. I would say, too, that, Cristobal against the spread has been pretty weak long-term as a favorite. I think I would probably bet Florida State plus 4.5 if I had to bet the side.
Yeah, I kind of think I am going to bet the Noles here. I just, like I said, I just think the data points don't look as impressive for Miami. And Miami's defensive front is, this is my own words. Guys, Miami defensive front is really strong. They took the run away from Notre Dame, and Florida couldn't do anything. And now it's like, damn, Notre Dame's run game hasn't looked the same without Riley Leonard, and Florida can't do shit against anybody. So now I'm looking back, I'm like, well, maybe Miami hasn't really proven me anything, and maybe Florida State would also be 4-0 with that schedule. So, and Florida State's run game against Virginia looked really impressive. Every time Florida State had the ball, in my head with my Virginia bet, I was like, oh man, we're going to lose. Because they just looked unstoppable. So yeah, I think the Noles win, honestly. Last game up. Jace, Kyle Field. I have no idea. 14 is a lot, man. And Mississippi State's kind of good. Let's hear it.
Hear me out. Okay. Bear with me on this. I will never take a high spread with A&M. I hate it. I just don't trust it, but that's not fair to Coach Elko and what he's doing with this program. That's the old A&M, the past where they let backdoor covers happen. I know it happened to you against UTSA, so I'm sorry to bring that back up. But I think this is a horrible spot for Mississippi State. If you could have a definition of blowing your load against a team and coming up short, it would be what they did last week, gifting Tennessee 2 defensive touchdowns. It really should have won the game. Like I said, we kind of had that feeling with Virginia and Florida State, but Mississippi State was kind of my feeling of if someone was going to get an upset, Cowbell, Starkville, Joey Aguilar, I'm like, it's got to be Mississippi State. And they played good enough to get the job done. They came up short, and I think that takes a lot out of people. And they were at home, and now what better way to lick your wounds than you have to go to Kyle Field and your first true road game. I know they played Southern Miss on the road, but Kyle Field is a little bit of a different atmosphere. I love Jeff Lebby. I think Mississippi State's going in the right direction as a program, but A&M's score doesn't project really how the game went. Back-to-back games, A&M 500 yards offense against Notre Dame, over 400 against Auburn. We just had penalties that cost us. I think we called back like 2 touchdowns, and this wasn't very pretty on offense, but then you look at the box score and you're like, we dominated them in every statistic. And so I think A&M, we're going to come with a little bit of an edge on the, let's redeem ourselves. And last week I kind of hit it on the nail on the head is when I said this will be an identity game for A&M defense. And they had that bye week to clean everything up. And we had some injuries bounce around, opportunities for more guys to step up. And granted, it was Jackson Arnold, and they're averaging 5 sacks, and we've all seen how bad they are offensively. But I think that was a great momentum build for A&M. And then that's the football side of things. But the school side of things, where this is just, I feel like I would be un-American if I don't share this, and people know this. But A&M's first lady, Reveille, our mascot, she passed away this week on, I think it was either Sunday night or Monday. And for everyone who makes the A&M jokes of us being a cult or whatever, this is a huge deal for us. Our dog just died. And so I don't know the process of getting a new one or how it happens or who's next in line. But yeah, so now that makes me want to take A&M I'm taking A&M in the spread because you have to do it for Reveille.
What's the name of the dog? I'm going to Google it.
I might be pronouncing her name. Reveille. Yeah, just A&M first lady. Yeah, she was back in 2012 to 2025. So it just happened. But that's a big thing in A&M world. A&M land.
So would you lean towards the -14?
A&M -14. Sorry, yes. A&M -14.
It sounded like you were leaning towards it, but you led off with saying I don't lay big numbers with A&M. But then everything you said after sounded like you were.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. I normally wouldn't do this, but if Reveille didn't just pass away and then Mississippi State just didn't blow that lead, so I have to.
This is how I feel. And Kyle, I'm just going to pass it over to you. I think A&M's going to score 40. It's a matter of, do you think Mississippi State scores 27 to cover, or is it 40-10? It's either 40-10 or 40-27. So it's either over or Texas A&M minus the points. Maybe I could just split the difference and take a Texas A&M team total over. I'm very confident Texas A&M is going to score. Like Jay said, the final score of the Auburn game makes it look like it was close. That was a domination. Auburn had a weird pick 6 to make it look close. So, Kyle, what do you think?
I'm still upset I didn't win Texas A&M minus 6.5 last week. What a way to lose on the hook. They completely dominated. They had more than double the yards of Auburn. That pick where it was like a 1 or 2 yard touchdown drive right after it, and then 2 missed field goals from Texas A&M. They definitely should have covered minus 6.5. Looked like the much better team in that game. I think this one's tough because it's a lot of points, but Mississippi State, I agree with what Jay said. Horrible spot for Mississippi State. I mean, they put everything into that game. They probably should have won that game. The way they lost it is really heartbreaking. Now you go down here to Kyle Field. A&M's just a better team on a down-to-down basis. They're more talented than is Mississippi State. 14's a lot of points, so I'm a bit cautious about laying that many. I didn't know that about the dog. That is interesting. Those kinds of things can be extra motivation that kind of are behind the scenes. I think my favorite bet here, Kyle, it's kind of like what you were saying. I think first half team total over for Texas A&M. I'm not exactly sure what it is right now. I'll have to look it up. But first half team total over. I think bad spot here for Mississippi State. If they're going to play poorly, I think it's right from the jump. And I think Texas A&M has been really good in first halves. If you look at first half margin, Texas A&M 17th best in first half margin, 71st in second half. So they've really jumped out to these leads here in the first half. Texas A&M team total over here in the first half. I kind of like the game over as well, just because I think A&M can score quite a few points. I have to pass on the side just because I don't think Mississippi State's a bad team. Their defense has been a bit better than I expected. Blake Shapen's pretty good. But 14's a lot. It's a really bad spot for them.
Yeah, and Mississippi State, the weakness is their defense. And coming out of that game where they should have won, then immediately going to Kyle Field against this offense, which is just crazy talented, Texas A&M is going to score. So putting Blake Shapen in a spot where he's going to have to try to play keep up on the road against this pass rush, I could also just see a couple turnovers too. So I need
to double check. I'll send the injury report later in the Discord, but I'm almost positive that Mississippi State has some key guys out this week too. I don't know if it's O-line or receivers, but in my A&M group chat, that's what they were talking about. So I know Mississippi State's battling injuries this week too.
I actually didn't get to the injury report for this game yet. This is one of the last ones. I go in order, so I'm about 2/3 through Saturday. I didn't get to this game yet, so I don't have the injury report for that. But yeah, I mean that would certainly explain why I'm seeing 14 and a half on Pinnacle now. So yeah. All right, Kyle, where can the folks find your stuff?
Over at huntersportspicks.com, free pick newsletter over there. You can watch the Bet US college football show on Tuesday and Wednesday. The Spaces on Friday night. Those are always a lot of fun. Follow me on social media at Kyle Hunter Picks there on X, Twitter.
And Jace, that's his Twitter right there, Jay Sternberger.
Yes, sir. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, I actually saw you tweeting recently too. There was a few day stretch where you weren't tweeting anything.
Yeah, I heat up towards the weekends. I try not to. You'd be surprised how many fans are quick to get after me, and then they can't banter with me. They just want to start talking. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh well, you only played 2 years in the NFL or 3 years in the NFL. I'm like, all right,
is that done enough?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what to say. Like, you don't know anything. You didn't blah blah blah. They're like, it's always Texas fans that just come after me, and I'm like.
You only played 2 years. How many touchdown catches do you have from Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I'm just like, what do y'all want from me? The best is when it will be. I got fans who will chirp at me from A&M. They're like, "Oh, did you even play here?" Whatever. And then I would just submit that picture of my banner hanging from the stadium and just be like, but I try not to do that anymore because I don't want to be hostile.
It also hits harder if you let them like search it themselves. Then it like
yes,
yeah, that's true. Hits harder. But all right. Guys, talk to you over the weekend. Let's have a good one.
Later.
All right, it is Wednesday. All right, so up on the channel right now, there's a video where I talk about the Thursday night football game, if you wanted to see me break down that one. And I also have a video up where I break down the Sam Houston State, New Mexico State game, which is the Thursday night college football game. So there's 2 videos up right now, one for the Thursday night football game, one for the Thursday night college football game. So if any of you guys are staying up and want to watch me break down a couple Thursday night football games, there's 2 videos up. Thanks everyone for watching. Go Flacco sauce. Yeah, I know. That's embarrassing. You know what? That's the hardest part. Actually, hold on. Let me turn the camera on. That's the hardest part of this. All the lights are out. Oh. So that's the hardest part, by the way, is I bet a lot of these games, for those of you that watch the NFL part, and I was talking about Flacco starting. So I bet, for those of you that follow along with my bets on the website and the text alerts and all that, I bet a lot of these at open, right? Because I'm trying to get the best number. So I bet the Browns plus 4.5 at open. And from the rest of the week, I'm just watching the line. And then when it gets to it, it's like, oh, I have to talk about this game. I haven't been following along the news alerts, which I have to. But all I'm looking at is a line. I'm like, oh, it's dropped to 3.5. I'm holding the profitable position. So yeah, didn't even know that. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go check out those